This is Mikola Conrad. I'm the Senior Director and General Manager of the Trunking and Policy Business Unit, and that means I am in charge of our policy products as well as our media gateway products. So there are different types of policies. The kind of policy that Sonos is involved with is network policy, which means the rules that are applied to a call as it traverses a network. As an example, that would be things like, can phone calls be made after 5 p.m.? When a call comes in from a specific LATA, how should it be routed? All of these types of rules allow service providers and enterprises to really maximize network utility and therefore lower their costs. And they also allow both service providers and enterprises to offer new services, such as the burgeoning new unified communications era. So policy really is the centralized rules that allow your network to handle calls and unified communications in the new SIP era. So to service providers, the network policy, that is primarily what I'm talking about today, really allows a service provider to make sure that calls are routed correctly, so a call can get from point A to point B, be that a audio call or it could be a session, a SIP session, and also a video session for that matter. It gets correctly from point A to point B, and also is recorded in their systems so they can charge for it, which is how they make money. And it also makes sure that it uses the network resources in the most cost-effective way. So if there are routes that are more cost-effective to get from Germany to the United States, a policy will make sure that you take that most cost-effective route and therefore lower your costs and therefore increase your margins. And so service providers really use it to make sure that their networks are running in the most efficient way possible. So as people move to BYOD and as the use of bandwidth increases with the move to unified communications, enterprises really need to police how their networks are being used, both on ingress, sessions coming into their network, what's allowed and what is not allowed, as well as on egress, what's going on within the network. How many video sessions do we want up at any one time? How many audio calls do we want up from this particular SIP client? Now, I have an iPhone. Maybe I don't want calls from iPhones traversing my network. All of these kind of things, as CIOs start to think about the new world of SIP and unified communications, enterprises really need to think through their centralized policy requirements as this all evolves. So for enterprises, it's not so much about cost effectiveness and network effectiveness, it's more about the transition to unified communications and how do they do that efficiently. So the Sonos policy portfolio is based on a single engine, the PSX, and the PSX runs on standard off-the-shelf hardware. There are many different features that are part of the PSX. One of them is centralized routing. That is the core feature that most of our customers use. You can also augment the core features with things like least cost routing or local number portability. Those are more service provider type features, but a lot of service providers, if they already are using the PSX as a core routing device, it's a natural extension for them to also use it to do their least cost routing and also to do the local number portability. So even though it's one hardware device, the software can actually be multiple different products depending on the use case that the particular customer has.